So we are live. I'm trying this one live on LinkedIn. So if you are watching, you can put comments and I will read them live on air. So if this is the first time you've joined me, welcome to AI News, where I'm going to be looking at everything newsworthy in the world of AI. And I've just found a really interesting story that I want to run through with you. So it is on bbc.com and it's by Josie Cox and it is called AI Anxiety: the workers who fear losing their jobs to artificial intelligence. So many workers worry AI is coming for their jobs. Can we get past the fear and find a silver lining? Claire has worked as a PR at a major consulting firm based in London for 6 years. The 34-year-old enjoys her job and earns a comfortable salary. But in the past 6 months, she started to feel apprehensive about the future of her career. The reason? Artificial intelligence. I think a lot of people are feeling this as well. There's lots of people out there, no matter what line of work they're in, are worried about how AI is going to advance and how AI is possibly going to change the way that they work or possibly eradicate their jobs completely. So let's get back to it. I don't think the quality of work that I'm producing could be matched by a machine just yet, says Claire, whose last name is being withheld to protect her job security. But at the same time, I'm amazed at how quickly ChatGPT has become so sophisticated. Give it a few more years and I can absolutely imagine a world in which a bot does my job just as well as I can. I hate to think what that might mean for my employability. And again, I think it's sensible to think about this because there's a lot of people out there right now. They're thinking, this will never come for me. My job is completely AI proof. But, blacksmiths thought that when they were making horse shoes for horses, the horseshoes, and then cars came along and, arguably overnight their jobs became obsolete and they had to change. So I don't think anyone out there can think that they are AI proof. Let's get back into it. In recent years, as headlines about robots stealing human jobs have proliferated, and as generative AI tools like ChatGPT have quickly become more accessible, some workers report starting to feel anxious about the futures and whether the skills they have will be relevant to the labour market in years to come. If you saw my last video, I was talking about how AI is being used for resumes, for job CVs and cover letters. And of course, there's people that have spent their entire lives getting very, very good at writing. And almost overnight, I don't want to say that skills become redundant, but it's become accessible by everyone. It's almost been commoditized. It's been super easy for anyone to be a proficient writer. Not amazing, let's be honest, right now, but yeah, it is what it is. But we're gonna have to get into it, and there's going to be lots of other skills that we've worked on for the entirety of our careers that possibly aren't going to be relevant in the future. So in March, Goldman Sachs published a report showing that AI could replace the equivalent of 300 million full-time jobs. Last year, PwC's annual global workforce survey showed that almost a third of respondents said they worried about the prospect of their role being replaced by technology in 3 years. I think a lot of creatives are concerned, says Alice Marshall. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. You're probably not watching this, so it doesn't really matter. It says Alice Marshall, a 29-year-old copywriter based in Bristol, UK. We're all just hoping that our clients will recognize our value and choose the authenticity of a human over the price and convenience of AI tools. And again, that's going to be an interesting evolution. There's lots of things out there at the moment that are cheaper and easier to buy. But there are, there's furniture. Let's look at furniture. You could go to IKEA and buy a desk for £50, or you could go and buy a handcrafted mega desk for 5,000 mega desk. That should be a band, but a handcrafted mega desk for £5,000. There's always going to be that market there for it, but as it becomes easier and easier to buy the cheap furniture, the market for the handcrafted, human bespoke element is becoming less and less. Now, career coaches and HR experts are saying that although some anxiety might be justified, employees need to focus on what they can control instead of panicking about possibly losing their jobs to machines. So there you go. Instead of worrying, don't worry. And then you won't be worried. They should invest in learning how to work alongside technology. If they treat it as a resource, not a threat, add the experts, they'll make themselves more valuable to potential employers and feel less anxious. I think that actually is quite good advice. Fear of the unknown. For some people, generative AI tools feel as if they've come on fast and furious, because they have. They have advanced so quickly and so rapidly and so impressively. OpenAI's ChatGPT broke out seemingly overnight, and the AI arms race, I don't like that term, it's a little bit end of the world feeling, is ramping up more every day, creating continuing uncertainty for workers. Caroline Montrose, a career coach and lecturer at Columbia University in New York, acknowledges the pace of technological innovation and change can be scary. It is normal to feel anxiety about the impact of AI because its evolution is fluid and there are many unknown application factors, she says. But as unnerving as the new technology is, she also says workers don't necessarily have to feel existential dread. People have the power to make their own decisions about how much they worry. They can either choose to feel anxious about AI or empowered to learn about it and use it to their advantage. There, more good advice. Just choose not to feel anxious, and then you won't be anxious. PwC's Scott Likens, who specializes in understanding issues around trust and technology, echoes this. Technology advancements have shown us that, yes, technology has the potential to automate or streamline work processes. However, with the right set of skills, individuals are often able to progress alongside these advancements, he says. In order to feel less anxious about the rapid adoption of AI, employees must lean into the technology. Education and training are key for employees to learn about AI and what it can do for their particular role, as well as help them develop new skills. Instead of shying away from AI, employees should plan to embrace and educate. I mean, that actually is very good advice. Of course, people know Pegasystems. We've got AI and automation tools that make agents' life easier in customer service environments. And it's not about replacing them. It's about taking the mundane, everyday tasks that they're doing day in, day out, using AI to make and automation to make that stuff happen seamlessly. But then when you've got more complex issues that really need a human touch, using AI and automation to help the agent deliver that better service. So that's good advice there. It may also be helpful to remember that, according to Likens, this isn't the first time we have encountered industry disruptions. From automation and manufacturing to e-commerce and retail, we have found ways to adapt. Indeed, the introduction of new technology has often been unnerving for some people. But Montrose explains that plenty good has come from past new development. She says technological change has always been a key ingredient for society's advancement. It has, that's true. Regardless of how people respond to AI technology, adds on Montrose, it's here to stay. That is the case. We cannot predict necessarily how AI is going to evolve. All we can predict is that it will evolve and it will disrupt. And it can be a lot more helpful to remain positive and look forward. If people feel anxious instead of acting to improve their skills, that will hurt them more than the AI itself, she says. That is an interesting point. Sometimes we can be so anxious about the potential of something that it actually inhibits what we're doing today. And that potential may never manifest, it may never materialize, and your work will suffer because of something in the future that is never going to happen. So it is much better to try and learn about AI and use it to your advantage rather than sit there just being scared of it. Right. Unique value of humors. Although experts say some level of anxiety is justified. Oh, I wasn't. Okay. I'll be a little bit more anxious then. But it may not be time to hit panic button yet. Some research has recently shown that fears of robots taking over human jobs might be overblown. So this is interesting. Are we all thinking that more jobs are being taken than they actually are. Let's look. November 2022, research by sociology professor Eric Darling at Brigham Young University in Utah, US, shows that not only are robots not replacing human workers at the rate most people believe, but some people also misperceive the rate at which automation tools are taking over. Okay, so people maybe are blowing this out of proportion. His data showed about 14% of workers said they had seen their job replaced by a robot. But both workers who had experienced job displacement due to technology, as well as those who had tended to overstate the pace and volume, their estimates were far off reality. So I think the thing is, we hear the stories of jobs being replaced by AI and automation. We don't hear about the jobs that haven't been. Nobody's writing articles or doing videos saying, today my job was not taken over by AI. Thank you. It's like when you go online and type in your symptoms for whatever illness you've got, you only hear the horror stories because nobody writes an article saying, I thought I had this illness, but then I didn't. So we are hearing more and more of it. It's like a skewed perspective. So overall, our perceptions of robots taking over is greatly exaggerated. Those who hadn't lost jobs overestimated by about double, and those who had lost jobs overestimated by about 3 times, said Darling in presenting his research. While Darling said that some new technologies would likely be adopted and implemented without considering all implications, it's also true that just because a technology can be used for something doesn't mean that it will be implemented. Stephanie Coleman, a principal in consultancy EY's People Advisory Services business, also pointed out that we shouldn't expect the workforce of the future to be binary. In other words, a combination of both humans and robots will always need to exist. Humans will always have a role to play in business by performing the important work that robots cannot. This kind of work typically requires innate human qualities, such as relationship building. Right. There is a thing about this, though. There's a story about replica AI where people were having relationships with an AI and like actually forming like love relationships with an AI. So seeing that AI can't build relationships, I don't know how accurate that is. I'll find a story of that and cover it in my next segment. Now, relationship building, creativity, and emotional intelligence, she says. Recognizing the unique value of humans in the workforce when compared to machines is an important step in navigating the fears that surround this topic. A few weeks ago, Claire, the PR worker, decided she wanted to start learning more about the technology that's transforming her industry. She's now researching online courses through which she hopes to learn to code. That's probably not the smartest thing to do, because generative AI can generate code. All you've got to do is tell it what to do and it will create the code. So that's probably not best use of your time, Claire. A lot of tech used to scare me, so I just ignored it. Based on everything I'm seeing, that's sort of stupid. No, what's stupid is deciding to learn how to code when you've literally just said that you're scared of AI taking your other job, where AI is going to probably take... Never mind, she says. Ignoring something definitely won't make it go away, and I'm slowly starting to understand that if I take the time to make it unfamiliar, which makes it less scary, it might actually be able to help me a lot. Yeah, I think that whether she should go and learn to code or not is a separate subject. But either way, let me know in the comments. Do you like this format? Let me know. But also, what elements of your job do you think AI might overtake or be able to help? And I will see you on the next segment